Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you, 20 minutes past the hour. I've been telling you, if you have a problem voting, you have the right to vote. Check out Election Protection's website, 866-OUR-VOTE, OURVOTE.org is their website. It's also their phone number. And Chris Melody Fields, the co-leader of Election Protection, the group that I was just describing, is on the line with us. Hey, Chris, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So tell us, first of all, just give us a quick summary of Election Protection. What are you all doing?
Sure. Election Protection is the nation's largest nonpartisan coalition that is working throughout the entire year to protect the right to vote. We have about 150 organizations that are members of the coalition that are seeking to make sure that any eligible voter has equal access to the ballot. Okay.
So if I show up and they say you're not registered, or we don't have your name, or you can't vote, or here's a provisional ballot, or whatever, I get any kind of problem at all, what do I do?
You call the 1-866-OUR-VOTE hotline. That's 1-866-687-8683. Already today, we've received over 9,000 calls from voters across the country that have either had questions about where their polling location is, or where if they are registered to vote, or reporting problems that they're having at the polls. We've definitely had a lot of issues with machines breaking down. A lot of early this morning, a lot of polling locations were not opening in on time. And, one of the issues that we've been watching and tracking throughout the entire the day are the issues in Texas with the new voter ID law being implemented in preventing eligible voters from casting a ballot.
What are you finding?
What we thought we would find, a lot of people that are eligible to vote, either have issues or are being turned away at the polls. We've also had a particular issue in Georgia where, early this morning we were getting dozens of calls because the Secretary of State website was down, and that is how people find their polling location and find whether they are registered to vote throughout the majority of the morning.
Why would the Secretary of State in Georgia take down their website?
No, it wasn't that they took it down. That there was an issue and it was overloaded, so we weren't being able. Voters weren't being able to get on to verify.
Why'd they put it on a crummy server?
You'll have to ask them that question. I can't answer that.
I think I know the answer. They as Paul Weyrich said, for Republicans, our leverage in the election, quite candidly, goes up as the voting populace goes down. But anyway, you guys are nonpartisan, so I won't ask you to comment on that. What is your sense of how things are going across the country right now compared to previous elections?
I think we are continuing to, we are seeing the systematic problems that we see every election year. As I mentioned before, the problems with machines that are breaking down, problems with people being improperly turned away at the polls, either by poll workers being misinformed or giving wrong information, places not opening on time, long lines in a number of places as well. So, we're just it's symptomatic of what we see every election. The local jurisdictions are not properly administering their elections.
Yeah. And what can you do about it? If I have a problem, if I'm standing in line, or I've been told, sorry, you can't vote, or here's a placebo ballot or a provisional ballot, and I call your number, can anything be done right then and there?
Absolutely. We're of course taking the information in from voters to see what are the issues are happening, but we're also going back and talking to election officials, making sure if a polling place wasn't open on time, making sure that people are staying in line and working with the election officials locally to fix those problems. If there are machines that are breaking down, working again with the local election officials to fix those problems. So if there are calls that are reported into the hotline, we're going back out and working with local election officials or local organizations to make sure we can fix those problems.
We're talking with Chris Melody Fields, the co-leader of Election Protection. The website and the phone number are 866-OUR-VOTE, VOTE.org. And Chris, this morning, Shano, our associate producer here, was loading your app into his iPhone. It was pretty impressive. Tell us about the app.
Sure. Sure. We know that we're living in a digital age, and, election protection is not only, out there to help voters, but we want to provide them tools and resources so they can, get prepared and get information about voting. So the Election Protection Smartphone app, you can text EP app to 90975, and that will allow people to access an FAQ about information in their state about the voting rules, find their polling location, and verify whether they are registered to vote. And, if there are any problems, obviously, they can also report it through the app and then call the 1-866-OUR-VOTE hotline.
I had a caller earlier ask a question that I answered with maybe more confidence than I should have. I was pretty sure that I was right, but his question was, how do I know if my vote was counted? And my answer was, well, voting is a two-step process. You show up and sign in and register, or, say, here I am, and they approve your ID and whatever and log you in. And at that point, you will show up on the database as having voted. And then they give you the ballot or send you to the machine and you vote. But there's no way to know for sure, even though the odds are very, very high that your vote was counted, but that individual vote was actually processed appropriately and correctly by the system. Is that accurate?
It depends on the state. Every state has a different type of machine that they use. So there are machines that have a paper trail that are audited after the election to verify that those ballots were cast. So it's just going to depend on the state and what type of machines they are using.
Right, but as to your individual vote, there's no way to track that and find out if your individual vote was counted or was spoiled.
There are different ways. It depends on the local jurisdiction.
So it might be possible in some places.
Right.
Huh, that's interesting. Okay, I learn something every day.
Well, sure, and that's, in the places where they use the machines with, a paper trail, you can see, instantaneously, if that ballot was cast.
Right. Chris Melody Fields, the co-leader of Election Protection. 866-OUR-VOTE, OURVOTE.org is the website. The telephone number, 866-OUR-VOTE. Check it out. Chris, thanks for dropping by.
No problem.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. We'll be back. It's 28 minutes past the hour.